So, we have various body parts to perform different spatial functions. Now, after the food is broken down with the help of oxygen, it should be supplied to each and every parts of our body. So, there is a spatial transporting system or group of organs which is called circulatory system, and the process is called circulation. Through this process, the broken down foods are supplied to each and every parts of our body in the form of energy. And lastly, the chemical reactions also create byproducts which is useless to our body. So it should be thrown out before it cause harm to our body, and this can be done by the process of excretion. We will now learn about all these life processes which helps in keeping an organism alive in details one by one. Firstly, it is nutrition. Whether we are doing work or not, we need energy continuously to maintain order of our body. The source of energy and other essential materials is the food that we eat. Now, there are different living things which have different style of nutrition, different process of nutrition. Now, how do they get their food? Some organisms obtain in the form of carbon dioxide and water, like green plants and some bacteria, while others utilize complex substances which will be broken down into simpler form by using biocatalysts called enzymes. For example, animals and fungi. Now, let's look at the definition of life processes. It will be easier for you all. All the metabolic processes like nutrition, digestion, excretion, respiration, and of course circulation, which together keep the living organisms alive and perform the job of the body maintenance, is called life processes. This you can memorize it. Nextly, about nutrition. How can we define it? It is like this. It is an organic process by which an organism assimilates food and uses it for growth and maintenance. Now we know that organisms take in food and change it to simpler form, and it is assimilated to different parts of our body in the form of energy for growth and maintenance. And lastly, as a whole, we can say that this nutrition is carried out by an organism to be alive. And there are two modes of nutrition. One is nutrition in plants and another one is nutrition in animals. Nutrition in plants is called autotrophic nutrition. Since plants are autotrophs, they are able to prepare their food by themselves. And there are some plants which eat animals. Actually, not the animals. They capture insects as their food. Hence, they are called insectivorous plants. For example, pitcher plant. Next is nutrition in animals. Nutrition in animals can be called as heterotrophic nutrition, since animals are heterotrophs. That is, they depend on plants and other organisms for their food. Now let's study about autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, it is a kind of nutrition in which inorganic materials like carbon dioxide, water, etc. are utilized to prepare organic food by the process of photosynthesis. For example, green plants. Green plants are the organisms which carry out autotrophic nutrition and hence are called autotrophs. Now, autotrophs, green plants, use simple inorganic materials and convert into complex high energy molecules, that is carbohydrates, by the process of photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis is a process by which autotrophs take in carbon dioxide and water and convert these into carbohydrates in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. It is called photosynthesis. You can memorize the definition also. And now, what happens during the photosynthesis? It is given in an equation which is important for you all. Now, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide react with 12 molecules of water in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to prepare glucose, that is C6H12O6 plus oxygen and water as the byproduct. And we all know that plant takes in carbon dioxide and it releases oxygen. Now, for photosynthesis, raw materials are also required. Now, what is essential? What are the things that are essential for the process of photosynthesis are, firstly, sunlight. It is very much important. Second one, chlorophyll. They are the green coloring pigment present in plants. Next one, it is carbon dioxide, which plant exhale from the outside environment. And next is water plus dissolved minerals like nitrogen, which is taken in the form of nitrates or nitrites by the plants, or even in atmospheric form, and phosphorus, iron, etc. This is absorbed by the roots and supplied to different parts of the plants. Now, where do the photosynthesis takes place? You can refer to figure 6.1, page number 96 of your textbook. Now, photosynthesis takes place in chloroplast, where it contains green coloring pigment, that is chlorophyll. And do remember the function of chlorophyll. Its function is to absorb sunlight. Now, what happens during photosynthesis? There are 3 steps which occurs during photosynthesis. Number 1, it is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. That means sunlight is captured by the green coloring pigment, that is chlorophyll. Number 2, conversion of light energy into chemical energy and breaking down of water into hydrogen and oxygen. In second step, the solar energy is converted into chemical energy, that is breaking down of water into hydrogen and oxygen also takes place. And now the third step is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Now these main events of photosynthesis is also important. In previous examination also this question had come, and you can memorize these 3 steps properly. Now let's study how carbon dioxide is taken in by the plants. Stomata. You all have learnt about it in your previous class, that is in class 9, about stomata. Stomata, they are the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. We can find mostly in the underside of the leaves, you all know that. And through these tiny pores, carbon dioxide gets inside the plants. Now, the stomata are the tiny pores. It is closed and it is also opened. And this opening and closing of stomata is done with the help of guard cells. You can refer to figure 6.3, page number 96 of your textbook. Now, this is the diagram of open stomata and closed stomata. And this one is the guard cells. And this one is the open stomatal pore, and these dotted things are the chloroplast, and this one is the closed pore. There is no hole, and you can see the guard cells. Now, when the guard cells swell up, when the water flows inside the guard cell. When the water flows inside the guard cell swells up, making a hole. At that time, the stomatal pore will open. Now, when the water flows out of the guard cell, the guard cells shrink, hence closing the pore of the stomata. There is no pore, you all can see that. Therefore, the closing and opening of the stomatal pore is regulated by the guard cells. Don't forget this one. And draw this diagram, figure 6.3, also in your copy, exercise copy. Now, function of stomata. What is the role of stomata? Is, you all know that firstly it is the exchange of gases, that is, it helps in exchanging of the gases through stomatal pore. Carbon dioxide get inside plant and oxygen is released to the environment. And next is transpiration. You all have learned about transpiration in class 9 also. Transpiration is a process where excess water is lost by the plants from its aerial parts in the form of water vapor. Now, this is called transpiration. Remember the function of stomata also. Stomata, they are the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. The opening and the closing of stomata is regulated by the guard cells. When water flows inside guard cells, the stomata opens, stomatal pore opens because the guard cell swell up. And when the water flows out of the guard cell shrink, hence closing the stomatal pore